The name my mother and father gave me, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. The name that the government gave me, David Keith Quigley. I wrote a book about it. Stolen Identity, Unveiling the Real John Kennedy Jr. by John Kennedy Jr. This should be number one, but it's not. Why isn't it? Because I am exposing in this book that the criminals have taken over the United States government, have taken over our media at the highest levels. It's huge, and they don't want you to know. Thank you so very much. So, my son, this is my son. My son was proud of my book. That's my son. I found my son deceased June 26th. I hadn't heard from my son in a couple of days, so I went to check on him and found he was deceased. Very painful. Huge. My book is still open. This book is still open. It's still being written. Still being written. Hello, Lions. Thank you so much for joining. So after 6 weeks and 30, 40 calls to the funeral home, to the county, the state, and every other thing, after 6 weeks, I finally got a call from the funeral home yesterday. And as soon as I got that call, I went and got my son. I placed him on the seat, and I started driving around. I went and checked the mail. You Lions are awesome. I got this letter in the mail. This is from a couple. This is what it's going to take, people, to get this truth out, to take our country back. They made a copy of my book. This couple was sharing what they're doing. They made a copy. They made copies of my book, and they're posting it at their supermarket, at the supermarkets around town, pinning it on the billboards. The Lions are roaring. That means so much to me. So much. It really does. I thank all of you. We are being hindered, blocked, shadow banned. They got their supercomputers. They don't want this story out. Why don't they want this out? Because I'm exposing presidents of the United States, past presidents. I'm exposing their big, huge crime ring. They're all Epstein's people. Epstein was just part of it, but they're all in on it. It's a crime ring. It's a devil cult. It's a secret organization. They put people in place, and there's so many people that are blind to what I'm sharing. They wave their flags for these people and vote them into office, and they still continue their works to cover people up like my story. I'm John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. My father was the president. The story of my family members being killed, straight up, and replaced with identity theft. That's how they work. They steal billions of dollars. That's how, they will tell you organized crime doesn't exist. Well, I'm telling you, it is huge. And that's how they make billions and billions of dollars. It's easier to steal someone's identity and all their property and all their possessions than it is robbing a bank. Much love, you Lions. So much love. So anyway, I had my son sitting on the seat after I picked him up from the funeral home, and we were just driving around. And I was collecting thoughts. My son, they ruined my son's mind. They really did, but he loved going for car rides. I would take him for car rides, and when we would stop and get home, he'd say, "Thanks, Dad. That was the best time." Well, anyway, we were driving around, and I made a few phone calls to people I hadn't called in a while. I called King Smarty, top priority King Smarty. King Smarty is a generous, wonderful brother of mine. I met King Smarty, and He's a very generous, caring man. Me and my brother King, we have the same agenda. That agenda is to destroy the cabal, straight up. And I talked with him, and bless his heart, King is wonderful, awesome man with a heart of gold. I was driving around with my son in the front seat, and I made a few other calls. I called Bill. We're going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Facebook. I shared on my Facebook, I shared a video. So tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock with me and Bill. It should be great. They're hindering us. They are blocking us. I do stories with Sue Greenwald, Awaken Stories on Tuesdays. Please share. Kia Pruitt, Dr. Kia Pruitt on YouTube, and she has other channels. Did a few of my interviews with me, and she's been hindered, taken down. This is the cabal we are up against, people. This is the cabal. These people have kept us in chains. I am proof that they have kept us in chains. They want to take everything from us. Everybody knows how bad it is. Well, I'm explaining why. Thank you all so very much for joining my live. Anyway, this might sound kind of morbid, but I'm explaining how I picked my son up from the funeral home yesterday, and I was riding around trying to collect my thoughts, talking with my son. People don't realize how big this story is. I'm explaining how big this story is in this book. I am trying to get it through to people. My mother was killed. I'm a personal eyewitness to that murder. My sister was killed. They replaced these people to steal their fortunes, steal my fortunes. And the presidents of the United States are behind it. They support it. You know, you Trump supporters, you Biden supporters, all you supporters are waving your flags for the cabal. Straight up. You really are. You just don't realize it. You aren't awake yet. It's all put in place before you go to the polls to vote. Your vote does not matter. You can sit home. It doesn't matter. They're still going to put in place. It's called a regime. That's what regimes do. They take over the media. They take over the television. They take over everything to program you. Every single thing. Donald Trump. That's right. Best friends with Epstein. Best friends. They called Epstein out. He must have really screwed up because they called Epstein out. But Donald Trump's best friend was Epstein. Same deal. Same deal. It's in my book. People need to wake up and quit waving their flags for anyone in government. Anyone. It's all organized crime. It is all organized crime. And how real is it? How real is it? Like I said, my family, by 1975, I did not think I had any Kennedy bloodlines left because organized crime within our government took over. It was a crime war. I'm exposing the Kennedy files. People like Donald Trump won't release the Kennedy files. Why? Because it exposes all. That's why. That's why. This is my son. He was proud of this book. This is a selfie. I didn't take this picture. I didn't Photoshop it. I didn't put my book there. He was proud of this book. He told me, Dad, I hope you get a #1 seller because I'm tired of living in poverty. Me and my son lived in poverty. So